So I'm just looking straight down the barrel the whole time.
This is how you train.
This is how you talking to you.
What's up, guys? I am at Mad Rock headquarters in California, and I'm actually here to interview two of their pro climbers, Matt Fultz and Taylor McNeil. So we're gonna go inside and talk to them. I've never done interviews, so I'm probably gonna be really bad at it, but bear with me. I just want to get some cool information from really strong climbers. Let's go inside. All right, guys, I am here with Matt Fultz.
Hi.
If you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, like how long you've been climbing maybe, and maybe what you're doing here at Mad Rock in SoCal today.
Yeah.
If you want to start with that.
My name's Matt. I've been climbing for about 17 years. I am in California right now. I'm originally from Colorado. Flew out here to California to hang out with the Mad Rock crew. Come visit HQ and go outside climbing, take some photos. It's gonna be really fun.
Nice. Mm-hmm. So do you still live in Colorado, or you live somewhere else?
Yes, now? I'm living in Denver right now.
Okay.
With my wife, Haley.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Colorado seems awesome. I've only visited as a kid, but it just seems beautiful.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, and there's so much climbing around there that it's really a paradise if you're a boulderer.
Okay.
If you're not, here, LA is kind of a little bit better.
So do you primarily boulder? Is that pretty much all you do?
Mostly just bouldering, yeah. I sport climb whenever I can, but it's a little bit harder because finding partners can be difficult. But and I love bouldering more as just like a pure power sport. Sprinter versus a long distance runner. Yeah.
Got it. I want to know some of like the specs. People, so like I have a -2 wingspan, and you know people talk a lot about the importance of like reach and height. How tall are you?
I'm about 5'11".
And then what's your wingspan?
I've got a +6, which is pretty nice. So I'm about 6'5". Yeah, rectangle.
My gosh. Okay, so you're like an exception. You're probably not like everybody else watching this.
Yeah, it's helpful for sure. Yeah.
Cool. I'm like -2, but I feel like I have no excuse. I'm still like 5'10", almost 5'11". Like.
Yeah, you're doing okay.
Did you ever compete? Like do competitive climbing?
Yeah. I've done comps ever since I was a kid, and I still do.
And do you do just bouldering, or do you also do lead?
Mostly bouldering. I think most comps are bouldering comps, but whenever there's like lead or sport climbing nationals, I'll do that.
Okay. Have you ever tried speed climbing?
Yeah, I did speed climbing in the combined nationals last year.
How was that? what's your PR?
8-1.
Oh, that's pretty good. It looks so hard. Just more
it's hard, and that's not a great time compared to what
speed
most
climbers
people,
are maybe
like 12-year-olds, are doing.
Really, 12-year-olds?
But it took a couple months of work to get up to that, and and then I climbed 8-1, I think, at the Sport Nationals that year, and
from what I've seen, it's like you can't just go under 10 without really starting to learn the beta and getting that explosive.
Yeah, you really got to dial it in and know your beta, and then just like know it by heart, like be able to climb it blindfolded, and then that's when your times start dropping under 10 and then under 9. And
it looks like combined athletes are trying to mostly break 7 right now.
Yeah.
And then obviously speed specialists are breaking 6. So.
Yep.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, I think probably the Olympic winner will go sub 7.
Yeah.
And they'll be bouldering specialists, bouldering sport specialists.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. I think it's probably also going to be a bouldering or lead specialist, because those just seem to go a little more hand in hand than a speed specialist transition into a boulder.
I know the speed specialists had a pretty tough time, like in the world championships, on the boulders and on the sport climbs.
A lot of the time they're just kind of hoping for zones and
maybe
a top.
Yeah. You see a lot of first, last, and last in there.
Yeah.
So But that's how it is. And if you get a first and the scores are multiplied,
pretty good, yeah.
It's really good.
You're basically only having 2 scores multiplied
yeah.
because that one doesn't exist.
And you're almost guaranteed to beat someone that has 3 scores multiplied, no matter what they are.
Right.
So
cool. So what do you think about climbing going into the Olympics? Like, is that something really exciting, do you think, for our sport?
I think it's exciting, yeah. I think it's pretty cool, and I've only really seen positives from it. More and more people coming into the sport,
right?
And finding the sport that I love and I've learned to love, and more money coming into the industry, which I see is mostly a positive thing. Just a couple of things is gym climbers, the gym to crag. So there's more and more climbers coming into the gym. And then, they discover outdoor climbing, which is rad, and they should be going outside, I think. But kind of the ethics of of climbing in the gym versus climbing outdoors is different.
Right.
And those things need to be taught.
Yeah.
And I think it probably falls on the gyms to educate before people are going outside.
It'd be cool to see classes in the gyms from going gym to crag. I also want to do some videos on this channel for climbing ethics and just proper etiquette at outdoor crag and in the gym.
Yeah, awesome.
I'm hoping to use this as an educational tool for those things. Because, I agree. Like, it's only growing and more people are going out.
Yeah.
But without the proper education or leadership, it could be a negative impact rather than a positive one.
Yeah,
So
I love to see more and more people in the gyms. I don't think that a crowded gym is such a terrible thing. And then we're just getting more and more gyms that are bigger and bigger and to accommodate the demand. So. And that's fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. So in general, a lot of people mostly want to know, from what I've seen, how to train to make progression in their climbing. And I think at least what I've seen to start off is just getting on the wall and consistency and volume. That's probably the number one thing, with acknowledging when you need a rest day. What do you think? I'm trying to figure out if I want to start at what you're doing for training, or if I want to start with like what a beginner should do. Because obviously it's going to vary.
Well, it varies, and I think that's the ultimate answer, and why a lot of people are kind of unsatisfied with what the answers they're getting for training, is because the answer is it depends. And it depends on you as an individual, and there's so many things that go into it, like how much time you have, how many days per week you're able to train, how long you've been climbing and training, and what your climbing and training background is. It all plays a role into how your program should look.
Right.
So there's no like easy, hard and fast answer.
No
like
one
this
answer
is the
fits all.
best core workout for climbers, or this is the one best finger workout that you can do, or like that doesn't really exist. There are great workouts that people can do that like generally will work for everyone. But I think that the key is the specificity and a personalized program for every person. So that's where it gets tricky.
If you were going to assess someone or assess yourself, do like a self-assessment, what are some tools or something that you would use for maybe self-assessment for, I would say, maybe someone that's climbing more than a year? Because I think someone climbing maybe less than a year consistently, I think just getting on the wall is probably best. But let's say maybe when someone's climbing more than a year, how can they assess maybe where they're at?
Okay. Yeah, so I'm still saying it depends. They've been climbing more than a year maybe, and they've had a good steady progression, and they've stayed healthy. They've been consistent in climbing 2, 3, 4 days a week and progressing in the way they should have. Then they should incorporate some strength training, I think, into that. So if I'm using myself as an example, I'll look at my overhead press, kind of my ring dips with weight added, and bench and squat as well, and even maybe some power cleans as far as like barbell lifts. Okay. And then the most important and what I really like to focus on is like a 20 mil or a 15 mil edge, either hanging, one arm or 2 arm hangs with some weight added. or off the ground, or OTGs, where it's like a one-arm deadlift. If you have a grip implement that's like a 20 mil, like the tension block is like an example, or like a gripple and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then I would try and find my max, either like a 1 rep, like how much weight can I get OTG, and then start building from there and kind of build a program from there where like, okay, let's say I can get 90 pounds off the ground with a 20 mil edge. Now I'm going to program with that in mind. So I'm going to work, at 80%. For one of my workouts, I might do 80% with reps of 3, and do like 5 sets on each hand or something, with like rest, with full rest in between each. And I'll kind of work up, and then I'll have another max day, every other week or something, where I'm trying to increase that max weight on my fingers, and just kind of load those joints as much as I can.
Got it.
And see that progression. But I wouldn't really, if your goal is to be a better climber, I don't know if I'd really start into that until you're really happy with your technique and how you're climbing.
And what would you recommend to work technique for a general technique workout for an intermediate climber, someone who's not new, not advanced?
Yeah. So no man is an island. I think that you need to have someone there to help you assess, someone more experienced to kind of teach you, watch, and give you some critiques. And then and it's helpful to have someone that is knowledgeable and can tell you those things and can pick those out. And there are more and more climbing coaches out there, especially for youth. Like almost anywhere you live, if you're a climber and you're interested, at almost any gym there's a climbing team, which is really, really nice.
Right.
And so totally. If you are able to join those teams, I totally would.
Take that opportunity.
You get to work with experts on technique, which I think is the most important thing, is to get that down, and then those strength exercises can kind of come later.
Got it. So technique should come first.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure.
Okay, cool. A tool that a lot of people ask me about is definitely like a hangboard. You mentioned you will use something like a 20 millimeter or 15 millimeter edge. What would you say is maybe a good beginning workout on the hangboard? So let's say somebody's already assessed that that's something they need to implement into their workouts. What would be a good one to start on? Yeah, a good one to start on, maybe some repeaters, just to get some engagement in the fingers and the tendons. So, maybe you pick like a 20 mil or even a 30 mil edge. And I keep it simple. Some people have their own protocols that are a little more complicated, which is fine. But I always have to keep it simple because that makes it a little bit easier for me, and I know I'm going to be more consistent with it. So I just go 10 on, 10 off, 10 on, 10 off, 10 times. Rest for 3.5 minutes is about how long that takes. You rest for that amount of time, and then you do it again. I do that 3 times, and I get a really good pump that way. Cool. So that's a good general workout. Yeah, that's then maybe just you can work your way super down. General, maybe it's not for everyone, but it's something to maybe try out and work with and play around with and see how that feels. And then you can start adding weight to that. But I think, it doesn't have to be too long after that you can grab a 20 mil and add some weight and see how long you can hang for 5 seconds. Or how much weight you can add to hang for 5 seconds. Yeah. So, before failure. And I think that if you've assessed that hangboarding is a way that is something that you can implement to become a better climber, then you're probably ready to put weight on your hangs. Got it. Personally, I feel like I excel a lot at compression, and so our gym is mostly overhung. I'm pretty good on steep terrain, good holds. But when it comes to even vertical faces on thin holds, my crimp strength, I don't think it matches some of the grades I send at other styles. Sure. So that's probably the thing I want to increase the most, is I want to be more versatile and maybe climb some 7s or 8s that are more on small holds, maybe more technique or balancy rather than just brute strength.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what I've developed. So like most of my hard sends are compression arrets.
Cool.
Which is fun. But I want to send something that's not a compression arret.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like maybe what would you recommend for someone like me that is lacking finger strength, but maybe has relative good body tension, strength, but just I cannot hold a small edge very
so
well.
there's some imbalances there. Yeah, absolutely, and that's a great question. I think that it is important to work that base. So if your top grade is V9 and that's like exactly your style, that's great. Let's start trying some V6s and V7s that are your anti-style and get that base in. Grades are cool. Like grades are important, and I'll chase grades for sure. But ultimately, what is the most important is chasing challenges. So instead of this is V9, so it's harder than this V7. Well, it might not actually be. Like the V7 might be more challenging. So maybe that's the one you should be doing. So I would say instead of chasing grades, chase challenges and look for those anti-style boulders and try and tick those off to get that nice wide base of all different types and styles.
Okay.
And that's going to help later on. Once you get into the double digits and beyond, like into the V13, 14, 15 range. Like every V15 I've done, you've had to be good at compression and crimping, and your technique and, your posture, your chain and everything needs to really be aligned.
Right.
So that's just building that base is just really going to help you later on as you get into those top end.
I like that.
Climbing.
That's definitely something. The other thing with like training, let's say you had answered, I should train something. Sometimes training is not fun.
Yeah.
But doing more climbing, maybe lower grades at my anti-style.
Yeah.
That sounds
that
way
could
more
be fun.
Way more fun for me and way more desirable.
Yeah.
So
and training's not always fun, but sending your project is fun.
Yeah.
So you got to choose your fun.
Right. Cool. I'm glad I asked you that because then I know it's okay and good to be placing more importance on doing those, I guess not lower grades, but my anti-style.
Sure.
Regardless, maybe the grade and just challenging, seeking challenges. I like that. When you're looking for a problem, what do you look for nowadays? Do you look for, I'm guessing a challenge, but in what way does the aesthetics call you first? Does the challenge call, what attracts you to boulder?
The challenge calls me first. So I kind of use the analogy of if it's beautiful, that's definitely a bonus. If it's just a beautiful boulder, bonus. But if it's beautiful and it's V2, I'm still probably not going to be interested in it because it's not going to light up my brain. I'm not going to have to problem solve it. And that's really why I love climbing. And that's me personally. Some people love, just looking at a feature and it's gorgeous and you just have to climb that. And sometimes I feel that. But really what draws me to the climbing is the problem solving aspect. Is really working it out, figuring out what works for me best, and then executing. And that's really what I love about climbing. So I'd rather try a boulder that doesn't look beautiful but is going to be a challenge to me than one that is just gorgeous and I'm just going to flash easily and I'll probably just forget about it the next day.
Right.
So, and that, again, that's just me. Other people have different opinions, but that's just for me. So I use the analogy of if you have a puzzle, if you have 1,000-piece puzzle, but it's an ugly image, then I'd probably rather do that because it's going to be stimulating to me than one of those pegboards.
Yeah.
With the puzzles,
yeah.
The big thick cardboard ones that you're gonna do in 30 seconds, and then and even if it's beautiful, it's still not as stimulating to me. So that's kind of my perspective on that. Yeah. So chasing challenges, it's not all about the grade. The grade is a motivating factor for me, but what really is what I love is the challenge.
Okay. Got it. So I'm curious what your favorite shoe is, what you like about it, and basically how you would go about picking a shoe if you're just trying some on, and I'll leave it there.
Okay. My favorite shoe is the Mad Rock Drone. I think that shoes really are all about fit, and that one fits me about perfectly. So I like that it's aggressive. It's also, it seems like it's the perfect amount of stiffness for me, and so that it's good at any angle. I've climbed some of my hardest roof climbs and then also some of my hardest vert climbs all in the same HV Drone. So it's just really the best all-around shoe I've ever tried. And so it's nice to go to a crag and just have one pair of shoes.
Right.
And a lot of times I'll go out with my friends and they'll bring 3 pairs with them because they have to they'll mismatch shoes,
right.
because maybe it's a hard heel hook with their right.
Yep.
For me, and it's all about fit, so it just fits my foot. For me, the drone heel is perfect, and it works for any heel hook for me. And then they also edge and toe hook just how I need it. So
right.
That's me personally, and so I'd say the most important thing is fit. If you find a shoe that fits your foot and you can heel hook with no air, then that's going to be the shoe for you.
Right.
And then second is kind of function. If you like to climb steeper climbs, then you might want something a little more aggressive, a little more downturned in the toe. But if you're more of a beginner and you want to keep your shoes on your whole session, then I would have a more flat shoe. It's going to be more comfortable, and you'll be able to kind of stand on your toes on a vertical face easier.
Cool. I'm so glad that actually goes pretty much in line with what I said in my video that I was editing, because
okay, good.
Number one, I think it's also fit.
Yeah.
Having because the drone low volume fits me the best.
Nice.
And if I had to pick one shoe and I didn't know what I was going to climb, that's what I would pick. Because all around I can use it for pretty much anything. And then, the other thing that's important to consider is function. Because if you're going to go multi-pitch, you don't want to be wearing a super aggressive shoe all day if it's
probably not.
slabby and vertical. Fit and then maybe function, I think, are important.
Yep.
And then the beginner comment too, I think it's easier to start with a neutral shoe, maybe even a stiffer shoe, to not have your foot get tired and first develop technique and then maybe develop the strength in the foot.
Yep, I think that's perfect.
Cool.
And then also look. It's got to look cool.
I do I personally like shoes that look cool. This one's going to be more general, and I just want to see what your tips are. Do you have any nutrition tips? That's probably one thing as an athlete that I've always neglected, but I know it's probably even more important than everything else if you're not getting the right nutrition. So do you have any general nutrition tips?
Okay. Yeah, so nutrition is another one of those things where there aren't good satisfying answers because it depends. People have food sensitivities and preferences, and it makes it kind of difficult to program nutritionally. My wife's actually a nutritionist, and she guides people through their nutrition and their supplementation. So she's been really helpful for me, but I don't, especially when I'm on a trip like this, I don't always follow exactly. But generally, I'm more vegetable focused, so I do eat meat, but I try to limit it to, at one serving a day. I'll have meat with one meal a day, and then kind of the rest of it is fruits, vegetables, and grains.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you supplement anything then in particular?
Yeah.
Like the main ones I'm curious about is I started supplementing collagen.
Yes.
And protein. I'm vegetarian too, so kind of helps me in two ways. Because a lot of the time, maybe a lot of the meals I have aren't protein packed, but I'm also learning more about how to combine my foods for protein. But those are the two I'm trying. Is doing more supplementing collagen, doing more protein.
Yeah.
So I'm curious.
Same with me.
Do you do both?
Yeah. I'll take multivitamins first of all, but also protein powders, and there's some really good vegan protein powders out there that I actually prefer the taste often of the vegan ones to whey. But I'll also mix in some whey as well because I like how it makes me feel, kind of some of the benefits of it. And then collagen. I think like the Physivantage supercharged
Yeah,
collagen.
that's what I've been doing.
Yeah,
Now for maybe 2 months now.
Yeah, I've really been liking that, and I'll drink some before like a hangboard session, and my recovery time goes way down, and it feels really nice. So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that someone more experienced is trying it, because like, for me it's almost hard to track or maybe know how much it's helping me or if I'm noticing any benefits.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to hear it from at least someone else, because for me, I'm like, well, my recovery's fine. I'm not injured. I'm like, I guess it could be working. It could be just my general, just
Yeah.
You know,
sometimes
what I mean?
it's hard to tell because we don't live static lives. You know, life ebbs and flows, and you might think you're just changing one thing. Like I'm going to do everything the same, but just add collagen into my diet. Like in a perfect world.
Right.
That's how it would be.
And you would notice a difference in that scenario.
But everything's changing.
Yeah.
But I have been taking collagen consistently for the past 6 months, and I've seen my finger strength go way up, and I've been really happy about it. And that's the what I've heard is that collagen is for tendons, where in the same way, analogous to like protein powders for muscles.
Right.
So it's just like feeding your tendons.
Right.
And,
That's kind
and
of my
helping them
understanding of it
grow.
too.
Yeah, and stay strong.
Cool. Glad I asked that. If you don't mind. So one of your videos was so funny to me, the dabbing video. I'm curious. So for anyone that doesn't know, there's a video where people called you out on the dab of a V14 FA.
Yeah.
And you posted another video of that same climb later on, and you did it so cleanly and static and got your foot off, dabbed even harder, and flipped off the camera. And it was so
all the
funny.
haters. Yeah.
So I'm curious, like, did you go back to that climb because you had that idea, or I'm just curious if there's a little story behind that or anything?
Yeah. Well, no, I got the idea like the try before I did it.
Okay.
Because I wanted to go back and like, I mean, I guess I went back to that boulder. I was already in that area again, but I went back to that boulder with, in mind of like, I want to redo this and like cleanly and then I'll post it on Instagram and say, hey, I went back and a bunch of people were hating on me because I dabbed, and so I just went back and did it cleanly. But I was, as I was like doing it, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna do it again. I did all the moves kind of first go. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it again. I was like, it kind of sucks that I feel like I said I dabbed, but it didn't make any difference. It was such a light, it was a light tap, and I just wish people would like believe me on that. And so I was like, it's even dumb that I feel like I have to come back and do that when I know it didn't feel any harder, or when I did it the second time. In fact, it felt easier. Like it didn't have to. There's nothing in my way, and I was like, it just sucks that I had to do that, and I got called out, and people just don't believe me.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the mindset going into that. It was more. I mean, it was obviously in good fun.
Yeah. No, I thought it was so funny.
I don't even know. I can't think of anyone specific that called me out.
Right.
And some people have a good heart, like a good heart and good intention. They calling it out because they don't want to see climbing go in a direction where dabs are just acceptable and everyone can just dab on anything and call it ascend. So I understand that aspect of it too. But when I say it didn't help me.
It made no difference.
I would
if you had touched it or
to
not.
be believed.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the pushback against that.
I thought it was so funny.
Yeah, thanks.
And I remember. I think I saw like you wrote in the comments or in the description. It was all in good fun.
Yeah, and absolutely it was.
Which, again, it made it more funny. Like it didn't.
Nice.
I don't think it looked like an attack back on anyone specific. Like that.
And I almost didn't post it, but I was happy with the response.
No, it was so funny. It was one of my favorite videos I've seen.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Because it was so clean too.
Yeah.
And you just take your foot off, touch the pad. No, it was hilarious.
Thanks.
I wanted to bring that up now that I remembered. But do you have any like cool upcoming? Do you have any goals for the year? Like any upcoming projects that you're like psyched on right now?
Yeah. Right now I have a project in Boulder that I'm really stoked on. It was one of those that just felt totally impossible at first, and I just kept going back to it. I don't know why, because I was getting nowhere on it, and then just all of a sudden Well, I know why. I was doing more specific training for it.
Okay.
And I went back and I was able to do the last 2 moves that I couldn't even come close on. I was able to do those almost easily.
Okay.
And so I was really psyched to put that together. And that was actually the day before I left for here.
Oh, nice.
So yeah,
so right now
I'm
like,
excited.
You're probably thinking about it.
Yeah, it's the last thing I think about before
Okay.
I fall asleep.
Sick.
So I'm super stoked for that. That's right now. And that's probably all I'll try up until I leave for Switzerland and Font
Nice.
in late February.
Okay.
So
Nice. That's super cool.
yeah, thanks.
Cool. And then I keep saying last one, but
It's
favorite crag in the world, favorite place to boulder. You got to pick one to climb it the rest of your life.
Gotta pick one. I went to Rocklands a few years ago, and it's
that
really
good?
hard to beat. Yeah.
Oh, man, I wanna go so
It's that
bad.
good. Yeah. But it's a tough choice. That I would put that at number 1, absolutely. But I really like Waco and Magic Wood in Switzerland.
Yeah. I see all of those on social media, and I'm like, I need to go.
Yeah, Waco is probably my favorite U.S.
Okay.
destination. And then I haven't climbed a ton in Europe, but Magic Wood's probably the best.
Cool.
Yeah.
Those are all on my list. Honestly,
Nice.
probably within the next year and a half.
Cool.
Yeah, South Africa is just not very convenient.
No.
I lived down there for a while for studying abroad, but I wasn't a
cool.
climber.
Yeah.
I wish I was.
Dang.
Oh my gosh.
Dang.
When I was in Cape Town, I would have made the
Cape
drive
Town.
up there all the time.
Yeah.
Cool.
Dang.
All right, man.
Cool.
I really
Yeah, thanks a
appreciate it.
lot.
Dude, I could ask you some more
Absolutely.
questions. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. This was my first time doing interviews, so I'm sorry if I am awful at it, but hopefully I can get better as I do more. If you want to see more, please let me know, and let me know what kind of questions you want to know from other climbers or even professionals in the industry, and I'll do more of these. So thank you to Matt Fultz. Thank you to Taylor McNeil. I really appreciate their time. And hopefully there's something in here that helps you or just was interesting. But yeah, don't forget to subscribe, like, and keep sharing this channel, guys. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
On the ground.